Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shohrux Bahromov. I am fourth year student at Tashkent State University of Economics. Uh, Today I'll represent the Belgium's performance in Sustainable Development Goals, also known as SDGs. The SDGs are a set of 17 goals adopted by United Nations to achieve sustainable economic, social, and environmental development by 2030. The first goal is no poverty. Uh, First, the consistent poverty rate is around 12%, while 16.5% of population is at risk of poverty. In addition, about 5.3% experience severe material deprivation. If you look at the regional differences, poverty is unevenly distributed. For example, Brussels has the highest level at around 40%, while regions like Flanders shows much lower rates, around 3 to 7%. At the same time, the Belgian government is actively addressing the issue. In 2024, around 64 billion euros was spent on pensions, and about 1.2 billion euros was allocated to poverty reduction programs. Overall, this shows that although Belgium has strong social support systems, poverty and inequality still remain significant challenges, especially the across regions. Uh, Next one is zero hunger. The infographic represents the situation of food security and nutrition in Belgium. The food insecurity still exists, but it varies by region. It is around 7% in Flanders, 10% in Wallonia, and reaches 13% in Brussels, which shows clearly regional inequality. Looking at child nutrition, the data shows that at age 3, about 10% of children are overweight, while at age 5, this increases to around 14 to 15%. This indicates growing concerns related not only to hunger but also the unhealthy diets. At the same time, food prices have been increasing. The food price index rose from around 100 in 2010 to 122 in 2024, which means food has become significantly more expensive. To address these issues, the Belgian government spends about 679 million euros annually on agricultural support. Overall, the Belgium has a stable food system, but regional disparities, rising food price, and nutrition challenges remain important issues. Next one is good health and well-being. So Belgium has a high life expectancy, 82.5 years, which reflects a strong healthcare system. In addition, vaccination coverage is very high, reaching 98%, which ensures protection against major disease. Preventable mortality has also decreased over time from 125 to around 110 deaths per 100,000 people, indicating improvements in healthcare and prevention. However, there are still health risks. For example, smoking prevalence is 12.8%, causing around 9,300 deaths per year, while alcohol consumption remains relatively stable at about 7.8 liters per capita. On the positive side, Belgium has a strong healthcare capacity with 3.4 doctors and 11.5 nurses per 1,000 people, and healthcare spending is about 10% of GDP. Coverage is also very high with 98% of population insured. Overall, Belgium has a high quality and accessible healthcare system, but lifestyle related risks like smoking and alcohol remain key challenges. Next one is quality education. Education levels are relatively high, around 42.5% of young people can completely secondary education, and a significant share of adults have higher education qualifications, although there are regional differences. In terms of learning outcomes, about 90% of students achieve basic reading skills and 86% in mathematics, but only around 30 to 38% reach higher proficiency levels, which indicates room for improvement in advanced skills. Access to education is also strong. For example, enrollment at age 5 is very high, around 97%, showing that most children participate in early education. In addition, digital skills are widespread. Nearly 100% of young people use the internet, although this decreases among older age groups. Overall, Belgium has a well-developed and accessible education system, but improving higher level skills and reducing regional gaps remain key challenges. The next one, goal 5, gender equality. Women's participation in politics is relatively high. In 2024, about 42% of members were in parliament are women, which shows progress toward political representation. However, challenges still remain. For example, in management positions, women represent only 39.7%, which men still dominate with over 60s. In addition, gender inequality is more visible in certain sectors. For instance, in agriculture, women account for only 14% compared to 85% for men. Another important issue is gender-based violence. Around 24% of women report violence from a partner, and 27 from a non-partner, which is significantly higher than for men. Overall, the infographics shows that while Belgium has made progress in gender equality, gaps in leadership positions in serious social issues like violence still remain key challenges. Next, goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Access to drinking water is almost universal. About 98.5% of households use public water system, while only a small share relies on wells or rainwater. Wastewater treatment coverage is also very high. Around 98.8% of population is connected, with over 99% in urban areas and about 96% in rural areas. However, water quality shows mixed results. While 92% of groundwater is in good condition, surface water is weaker, with only 43% of rivers and 65% of lakes achieving good status. Regionally, water quality also varies, with better conditions in Flanders compared to some parts of Wallonia. Belgium performs very well in access and infrastructure, but improving surface water quality remains a biggest environmental challenge. Next one is goal 7, affordable and clean energy. First, the country still relies heavily on traditional energy sources. Around 48% of households use natural gas for heating, while 14% still depends on oil, and only small share uses cleaner options like heat pumps. At the same time, renewable energy is growing but remains limited. The total renewable energy share is about 14.5% of final energy consumption. If we look at the sectors, renewable electricity is relatively higher at 31%, but much lower in transport at around 9%, and especially in heating at only 6%. In terms of production, renewable energy comes mainly from wind and hydro, each contributing around 34%. Overall, this shows that Belgium is making progress in renewable energy, but overall share is still relatively low. and transition from fossil fuels remains a key challenge. Next one, goal 8, decent work and economic growth. Income levels in Belgium are relatively high, but there are regional differences. Some regions have GDP per capita above 60,000, while others remain below 45,000, indicating uneven economic development. Regions like Brussels and central regions have much better GDP per capita, and the wages are also increasing. Average hourly earnings rose from about 23.1 in euros in 2022 to 24.45 euros in 2023, showing steady income growth. At the same time, unemployment is relatively low and improving, decreasing 5.4% in 2022 to 5.1% in 2023. However, youth unemployment remains a concern, which is around 17.5% overall and even higher among females at 20% compared to 14% for males. Workplace safety is another issue, with over 66,000 non-fatal injuries and 78 fatal accidents reported. Overall, Belgium has a strong and stable economy with rising wages and low unemployment, but regional inequality, youth unemployment, and workplace safety remain a challenge for Belgium. The next, goal 9. Goal 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. First, infrastructure is highly developed. More than 95% of rural population lives within 2 kilometers of road, which ensures strong connectivity across the country. Industry also plays an important role in economy. Manufacturing contributes around 12% of GDP, with around 7,180 per capita, and employs approximately 13% of workforce. In terms of innovation, Belgium performs strongly. Total spending on research and development is about 3.4% of GDP, which is relatively high compared to many European countries. However, industrial activity also has environmental impacts. Energy-related CO2 emissions from industry remain significant, reaching around 19.3 billion euro equivalent. Overall, this shows that Belgium has a strong infrastructure and competitive industrial and innovation sector, but balancing industrial growth with environmental sustainability remains a key challenge.